Now let's do a little housekeeping before we go forward. I want to do a few layer manipulations, and I can see we have the very big thumbnails in our layer palette. And also, we haven't really been managing our layers too much, and I'm going to start doing that now and continue it for the rest of the project. Like all websites, we're going to have a lot of elements contributing to our design. And I've found that the better management you do in the beginning, the better things are going to be later down the road for you. I don't think we're going to be using most of the rest of the palettes for now, so I'm going to close them up and give ourselves a little bit more room for the layer palette. Stretch it on up to fill the space. And let me see, I switched over there. I could probably minimize these other graphics since we've already got them imported into our design. Let's minimize them all in case we need them later. And let's make a quick change to our layer palette itself. I'm going to go up to the flyout menu. We'll go to palette options all the way here at the bottom. And I'm just going to go to a much smaller icon. Now I know that's a little bit harder to see, but it's going to help in giving us more room to see the layers that we're going to be adding to our project, as well as being able to see these layer names here on the side. Now I'm kind of a stickler about this. I'll go in and edit my layer names for the content that's going to go inside each one of them. Notice all I need to do is double click on the name itself in the layer panel in order to change the layer names. In this case, this is going to be our crew button. And I'm specifically calling these all buttons so that I'll be able to identify them by the web object that we're going to have later. The second one is going to be our gallery button, options button, and the last one's going to be the what we do button. Okay, trying to make sure I can identify the web elements as we work through our project. Now another thing we want to manage while we're organizing things is grouping. We can make our layers much more convenient by grouping like elements together, and I want to do that with the images that we have here. Now a great new technique for doing this in CS2 is to select all the layers. So I'm going to click on the top image layer and shift click on the crew button layer. And with all four of those layers selected, I can go up to the flyout menu, and you'll notice instead of just choosing new group, I can choose new group from layers. That's the layers we have selected, and it will automatically gang those together. Let's call that group button images. And we'll just click OK to accept that. And you can see we've easily created a new group that can manage all of those buttons all together. Now we can see how those groupings are going to help right away, because what we're going to do for our final image is actually I'm going to use the button backgrounds as a base color for all of these images. Now you can see by placing it behind, I'm not seeing the colors at all except in this area that's sticking out underneath the flames. But what we're going to be doing for our layout, and again we're thinking ahead towards our website and our web page as it's finished, I'm going to take the button images and take all of them and set the opacity down quite a bit. Now if I go down to about, let's say 20% opacity, you can see that the group allowed me to do all the opacity settings on 4 layers at one time. Our finished result is going to show these buttons just like this originally. You can see the color in the base image is coming right up. It's retaining those colors in our design, and we're going to set up a rollover image so that when my user rolls over each one of the individual buttons, the full opacity of the graphic will be revealed. So we'll get that bright image still retained and get the colors set up into it. So I'm going to drop that back down to 20%, and we'll leave it like that because that'll be our static web page look before the user rolls over the buttons in the final web design.